Hi, I'm Chris James, and you're watching Healthy Alternative. Today, I want to talk about the benefits of Michael, and today we're going to be talking about...
Today we'll be making one of my favorite soups.
Welcome to the
tomato
JR72 Challenge.
I am Animated Mel, and I am your mental and wellness coach for
As always, perfection is not needed, but consistency
We must
is
first lovingly accept what is. You can't heal a body you hate.
I just want to take a moment to say thank you to all of you all for coming. This community is designed to support you in that time. It's really to utilize when things are bad and when you're at your lowest.
I started to learn about emotions. I started to learn about finding root causes, right? Starting to understand addiction and how addiction is not, once again, the issue, that we are using a negative stimulus as a coping mechanism.
Part of my mission is to make sure people know that everything we need comes in a natural form. It's already here for us.
I am determined. I am strong. And I am ready.
We must first lovingly accept what is. I often say, you can't heal a body you hate.
This is healthy blood cells. And that's what we're aiming for. So you can see the contrast. Okay? What you do matters.
Thank you all for coming. Be blessed.
We're going to bring up your next speaker. That's going to be the wonderful, magnificent Chris James.
If you talk about how much you hate your fat, your body has been working all this time to keep you alive. I don't think anybody in my circle understands impossible. What's going on, everybody? So I want to quickly make sure everything's working because I had trouble getting my camera going per usual. That's like a normal thing now. It's probably a little glitchy looking. There's nothing I could do about that right now, but if you guys can at least kind of hear me or kind of see me and kind of hear me, that'll be good. So just let me know in the chat if we're good to go so we can get started. Because I got a word for y'all tonight. Once I see some confirmation in the chat, we'll get going. Okay, cool. All right. So today I've got a topic that I want to talk about because it's something that's been on my mind, and it really came to me. It came to me earlier today when I was thinking about how, in different aspects of life, our level of integrity and how it impacts different aspects of our life. And I was just like, integrity is one of those things that we would never really apply to our wellness journey, because integrity typically involves somebody else. It involves something else. We don't typically think about integrity as it relates to promises we make to ourselves, but this absolutely applies. And it's something that we've talked about before, because I noticed that people tend to be more accountable to other people than they are to themselves. So when we talk about accountability, I do find that people lack accountability to themselves. And I think the reason why is because it's easy to lie to yourself, right? Like, you can lie to yourself about anything that you want. That is all within your own internal ecosystem. You could tell yourself that you're going to give yourself the moon one day. Okay. And I think the problem, the danger with that is when we live in a world of delusion, we can't get realistic outcomes. And that's where it becomes a problem. So accountability when you have accountability to yourself, it's a very powerful tool. But also, what comes along with accountability, and this is the piece that we haven't talked about as much, is integrity, right? So, integrity is one of those things that I would consider a core value. It really has to do with having a strong moral compass. You're a principled person. You know, people. When you think about people who have integrity, you think about someone who's honest. And the big thing about integrity is you're honest whether someone's watching you or not. And that is where the power of integrity helps you in your wellness journey. That is the core piece of it. If you lack integrity in other aspects of your life, why would you expect to be integral when it comes to your own promises? If you're willing to lie to your spouse, to your children, to your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your boss, your coworker, your classmate, whoever, if you're willing to abandon them, why wouldn't you abandon yourself? They both go hand in hand. There is no separation. See, the problem is we think we can compartmentalize our lives and say, oh, when I'm dealing in this area over here, this part of my life, it's okay to lack integrity. It's okay to be a flake. It's okay to whatever, because that's them. That don't got nothing to do with me. But then when you develop that type of attitude over here in this side of your life, you also bring that home with you. So when you lack integrity, it's not going to just affect this thing over there like you think. It's going to affect you, the decisions that you make, and the ultimately the results you're able to have. If you guys look at those who have been super successful on a channel, and whether they've lost 50 pounds, 100 pounds, whatever, the mass majority of people are losing this weight over the course of, I would say, anywhere from 6 months to 24 months. That is like the time frame that most people are losing this weight. In order to be successful, you cannot constantly give into distractions. You cannot be a person who's flighty, who's whimsical, because even if it's 6 months, let's say it's 6 months, that's still a 6-month commitment. Most people have trouble committing to something for 30 days. Like if I tell you guys that I want you to eat raw for 14 days, that's going to be a challenge for the mass majority of you. You know, a lot of you will be able to complete it. You'll be like, Chris, that's no problem. Maybe because you already are in that vein of eating raw, like it's not a big shift for you. But for those who it's like a culture shock to go from eating McDonald's every day to eating raw, that's going to be very difficult, right? So that's just 14 days. Imagine having to extrapolate that over the course of half a year or 2 years. So the question then becomes, how do you continue to propel yourself down this path for 6 months to 2 years? Well, you have to be a person of integrity. You have to have integrity, because you're going to promise yourself certain things. There's going to be certain milestones, certain goals. And look, the thing that's cool about integrity is it goes both ways. Like, just because you're a person of integrity, it doesn't mean you always got to be the bigger person and you always got to it doesn't have to have a negative connotation, right? We understand that being a person of integrity also has a positive connotation, meaning, okay, you could say to yourself, I'm going to eat raw for 2 weeks. And then when I complete that task, I'm going to reward myself with a cooked meal. Or you could say, when I lose 30 pounds, I mean, whatever, depends on what y'all's goal is. Let's say when I lose 30 pounds, maybe that's not the whole thing. Let's say you're looking to lose 90. And you say, when I lose 30 pounds, I'm going to go and get myself a nice outfit, a nice dress, or I'm going to take myself on a spa day, right? That also takes integrity, meaning you have made a commitment to yourself and you do that task. Then you also get to reward yourself based on the commitment you've made. So integrity is just you making a pact with yourself or someone else, right? But I'm going to do X, Y, Z. And even when no one else is looking, because this is between me and you, I'm looking. God knows. How about that? I know there's a lot of people who follow our channel who are religious. You guys believe in a creator, a higher power, God, whatever you want to call it, however you want to look at it. One thing we do know, if you do believe in that, God's always watching, right? So if you need to lean on something, who's watching? Who's going to know? Well, God's going to know. Now, there's something powerful about being a person of integrity that I don't want to get lost in translation. When you are a person of integrity, it's almost like you're building social credits. You guys know how in China they got the social credit system, but like it's almost like you're building social credit, meaning if you tell somebody, hey, my goal is to lose 20 pounds this month, right? Or whatever, 20 pounds for the end of the year. And you go and tell somebody that, and they see you do that thing, that builds social credit in their mind. Okay. This is something a lot of people don't think about, but the way other people view you, you kind of get put a little higher. Now, that could be a friend, a family member, a husband, a wife. That could be a boss, or it could be someone that you never even thought about. It could be when Stephen was on his wellness journey on the front end, he was going to the gym regularly. And one day the people at the door stopped him, because if you guys have a gym membership, like it's very normal now that when you get your gym membership, they take a picture of you and they assign that picture to the QR code on your gym membership badge or whatever. So you scan in, they see your picture, they look at you, okay, cool, go ahead in. Well, one day he gets stopped, right? And they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Whose badge are you using? Who's like, this isn't your, he's like, I'm using mine. This is mine. He's like, bro, like, we're looking at your picture. You don't look anything like this, right? Now, eventually the whole thing gets cleared up, but you just being on your daily grind, people are going to be able to see you transform. When you go to the gym, you're in there with the same people. If anybody who's ever gone to the gym, you guys get on a schedule, you see the same people, right? They're watching you transform in real time. Or it could be your UPS guy. The point is, it doesn't matter. When you walk in integrity, you leave behind lighted footsteps. People see your work. They see your effort, and it increases your social credit score. And you get a lot further with people because they find you to be someone who is about their word. You understand accountability. Not only that, but you're getting amazing results. So now you look great. Like, how are you doing it? So now they're curious. And it's just a side of things that, I've never talked about. I've never even really looked at it from this standpoint, but it's kind of cool to know that not only are you getting healthier, you're feeling better, you're sleeping better, you're performing better, but also you're having an impact on people around you, and more importantly, on your perception, how people perceive you. So this goes way beyond weight loss, right? Because a random person who has never met you before can see you at your goal weight, and you have built no social credit with them, right? They're just a random person. For all they know, you've always been that weight. You've always looked that way. But for those who are in your circle, who see you on a regular basis, isn't it interesting to think that their perception of you is heightened? Like, I personally think that's a pretty cool bonus. And I'm only talking about it from this perspective because sometimes we need motivation to be integral. Like, let's be honest. It's easier to not. It's easier to just be like, you know what? I know I told myself I was going to lose 20 pounds for the end of the year, but no one will ever know. I'll just do it. I'll do it at the beginning of the year. I'll make a new plan. But here's the problem with that mindset. tomorrow never comes. That's the trick, y'all. That's the moral of the song. Tomorrow never comes. So the problem is the only way we're going to get anything done in life is by doing it now, today. We can never depend on tomorrow. And I don't know who the message is for, but there's somebody who has been promising themselves certain outcomes for all of 2024, you know? Like, all right, maybe at the beginning of the year, you start with the New Year's resolution. Okay, this year, we're going to get healthy. We're going to get in shape. We're going to hit our goal weight. We're going to lose 80 pounds this year. So that's how we started the year. That was the promise, right? The problem is you've got all year to accomplish that goal. So you've already started the year on the wrong premise because you're giving yourself an entire year to accomplish the goal. Now, don't get me wrong. It's important to forecast, right? You have to, in order to reach a destination, you have to have a goal in mind. So there's nothing wrong with forecasting. But once you do the forecasting, you say, okay, this year we're going to lose 80 pounds. The next thing you need to do is say, okay, now what am I going to do today to get me to that goal? That means that you have an 8-month milestone, a 6-month milestone, a 3-month milestone, a 1-month milestone, a 2-week milestone, a 1-week milestone, and a 1-day milestone, right? And throughout this process, you're hitting these milestones. And each day you have a to-do list. There's something you need to do today that's going to get you to your 80-pound weight loss 8 months from now. When we look at it as I've got the whole year to do it, tomorrow never comes. It's like a whole month's gone by. You haven't done anything. You haven't even started. It's all good. I got 8 months. I got all year to do this goal, right? So in order to be integral, we have to also be intentional. So that means that if our goal is 8 months out, we've got to figure out what is it that we got to do every single day in order to hit that goal. Now, the cool thing is when you do that, when you say you've got this big goal, you want to lose 80 pounds this year, and you break it up into what you need to do every day, instead of that leering big goal that's overshadowing you, you know, you've just got this small task that you have to do that you know you can do, right? Maybe you've never lost 80 pounds. Maybe you've never lost 40 pounds. So that might feel insurmountable for you. So the way that you get over that is you discard that. You go through the process, you build out your steps, your milestones, and then you let that go. You don't need to focus on the 80 pounds anymore. Your focus now is the baby steps you're going to take every day that's going to walk you down that 8-month journey. And if you focus on your daily tasks, then you're going to hit the goal. You're probably going to exceed your timeline. And I'm not speaking, this is not me guessing. I'm telling you what I've been able to duplicate many times personally, but also we've seen it across our different platforms with testimonials and also clients and even coaches, the coaches that are on the team. This is how we all break it down. And this is just a new way of saying it. It's a new perspective. We a lot of times talk about accountability, right? One of the things people they really lean into heavy early on, especially if you guys at the beginning of your wellness journey, you're probably going to lean a lot into motivation. You know, there's a lot of you all who are brand new and you're like, I need motivation, Chris. And what happens is because motivation is the spark, we give it a tremendous amount of attention and energy, but we got to understand that motivation is literally just the spark. It's literally just that initial burst of energy that gets you going in a direction. That's all motivation is. I'm gonna tell you guys, I don't know if you don't understand this already, you may be a little discouraged to hear. Motivation's not going to do it for you. If your goal is to get to 80 pounds over the course of 8 months, motivation's not going to do it. I know it sounds wrong, Because when we watch the motivational videos, Les Brown, it gets us going. But we got to understand that's just a spark. That's literally just going to get the engine going. Boom. Now you got to figure out, you need an alternator. You guys know what an alternator is? So you have the spark plugs, boom, ignites the gas. And then you've got your alternator that's going to maintain your voltage, the energy that the engine is providing is going to maintain everything while you're moving forward. So what's the alternator? The alternator, in my opinion, is integrity. It's accountability. It is having the right environment, like you got to be around the right people. It is your consumption, not just what you're putting in your mouth, but what you're putting into your mind. And in addition to that, what you're putting into your spirit. All of these things have to be taken into consideration because motivation is just not going to do it, right? If we look at the alternator, what are the core parts of it? Integrity has to be there. It's got to be there. And how much further do you get to go along? It's not even, think about the efficiency. Like, this is a great thing to understand. If you can understand this one concept and apply it to your wellness journey, not only are you going to get further faster, you're going to be more efficient. You're going to have a more pleasant journey. But if you can hone in integrity on this level, it will spread to every other part of your life. That's the added bonus that you would never think about. Because let's look at the reverse. We say that people tend to be more accountable to others than they are to themselves. Well, that means in turn, they typically will be more integral towards someone else, or when someone is there watching or checking, than they will if there's nobody watching. But of course, it kind of defeats the purpose if you're only integral when someone can double check, right? So if we can understand the power of having integrity when it's this doesn't even have nothing to do with anyone else. If we can have a high level of integrity to ourselves, what do you think is going to happen when you interact in the world? And this is why I say it's going to increase your social credit. It's going to make your life easier. Obviously, getting healthy is going to make your life easier. It's going to increase your quality of living. But also, we live this world with other people. The world doesn't revolve specifically around you. Your world expands to all of the people that you interact with, all the people that you love and care about. So when we talk about being the best version of ourselves, we know there's going to be spillover, and there are going to be people around us that benefit from that. Now, that can be a piece of motivation. If you understand the parts and how they all fit together, if you have children and you want to be a good role model for your children, or you want to show them something, or you want to impart wisdom to them, doing is better than telling. So if you can show them that you are integral, if you can show them that you place wellness above as a priority, if you can show them that you can take a big problem or a big goal and break it down into baby steps, daily steps, then that's going to teach them better than anything you can say from your mouth. And once again, this don't got nothing to do with just the children or just anything. It's really about you but how you present yourself to the rest of the world. I was watching a video earlier that I thought was pretty cool. It was a lady on Instagram, and she was talking about a story. I don't know, her and this guy, I don't know who the guy was, boyfriend, husband, I don't know. But her and this guy were in New York. One of the street photographers take a picture of her. And you know how, like, when the street photographer takes a picture of you, they're going to try to sell you the picture. Their goal is to capture you. It's a candid moment where you look good, right? So they're going to frame you in a good light. Otherwise, why would you buy the picture? Now, when I saw the picture, because she's telling her story, I see the picture. I'm like, that's a good picture. Like the quality of the picture, the framing, the background, the picture is a good picture. The problem is she did not like herself in the picture, right? I don't know how big she was. You know, I don't know that much about her story, but she looked to me, based on my experience, she looked to be 280, something like that, depending on how tall she was. So she was a big girl. And the thing that's interesting about those types of situations is those situations become a catalyst for change for a lot of people. We subconsciously, especially when we're not healthy or we don't like the way we look, we avoid cameras, we avoid videos, we avoid mirrors. We avoid seeing ourselves, right? Because subconsciously, if we see ourselves, it's going to be a pain point. So the brain is constantly trying to protect you, protect your mental state, keep you balanced. And so subconsciously, we avoid things, sometimes consciously. But she saw the picture of herself and she said, this will be the last time I am captured in a photograph looking like this. And from that point forward, she decided to do 75 hard. And then she even still had issues, mental games that her brain was playing, saying, you completed 75 hard, but it was a waste of time. You still look the same. Right. And the only thing she had to compare it to was that picture that photographer took of her to say, no, I have made progress. I have made progress. Now, in that moment, when she saw that picture and she said to herself or out loud, this is the last time someone will be able to capture me looking like this. There was a bond that was made between her and herself. I'm sure you guys have done this before. This is not something new or outside of the realm of understanding. We do this. We make these statements to ourselves all the time. The difference between her and maybe you, I don't know, right? Maybe you guys are on your journey, you're doing well, you have integrity to yourself, whatever. But if this message is speaking to you, the difference is the follow through. It is the actual integrity. When I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, whether someone's watching or not. That's what integrity is, y'all. That's what it's all about. And by the way, don't be a hypocrite. If you are not willing to be integral in your life, do not preach that to your children, to your husband, to your wife, to your boyfriend, to a coworker. You keep that to yourself. Because there's a lot of people running around being hypocrites. And that's not good. I don't know a good thing about being a hypocrite. Usually that's a bad thing, right? Like you don't do what you say you're going to do, or you do the opposite of what you say you're going to do, or you preach one message, but on the side you do something else. Y'all know what I'm talking about. See, I grew up in the church. My dad was a minister growing up for a long time. Then he became a pastor. He got his own church and he became a bishop. I have seen the church from the inside out. And one of the things that I used to see all of the time that would really, really grind my gears was a pastor preaching a message that I knew he didn't live. I hated that. So as a young man, my mom would tell me, Chris, be a man of your word. Be a man of principle. Have integrity. Like these are the things my mom would say to me. And it wasn't until I got a little older and I got into spaces and I'm analyzing how people are interacting and things that they would do that I saw how much that was lacking in leadership roles. There's a lot of people that are leading and they're not doing what they're saying that they're doing. They're not true leaders. Leaders lead from the front. Y'all understand that? I think it's one of the reasons why you are drawn to the AHA brand. You could tell you have a group of people that are about that life. We're doing what we talk about. And because we do what we talk about, you get special insight that you can't learn from a book because you're actually boots on the ground doing the work. Now, the cool thing about it is you all are all leaders in your own life. You know, you're definitely, or you should be the leader in your wellness journey. But you're leaders in your own life, in your own respect. There's everybody has someone following them. You don't need 100 people or 1,000 people or 100,000 people following you to be a leader. There's somebody in your life that's following you, even if it's just your pet, right? And I say even if, but pets are they're sentient beings. They have wants, feelings, needs, desires. You know, people say that pets act like their owners. So sometimes you can learn something about people by getting to know their pet. So that's not that I wouldn't say that's a small thing. I think once again, it just goes to prove everybody has somebody that they're leading, that's watching them, or that looks up to them. And I'm not telling y'all to do any of this for anyone else. As a matter of fact, the message here today is to do it for yourself. Be a man or be a woman of integrity for you, right? Like, don't you want the outcomes? When you lie to yourself, you're only hurting yourself. When you lie to yourself, you say, I'm never going to look like this in a photograph again. And then 8 months later, you've done nothing to improve that. You're only lying to yourself. You're only hurting yourself. You're not hurting your friends. You're not hurting your family. This only hurts you. That you don't like to interact. You don't want to do the family photos. You don't want to get the promotion at the job. You don't want the spotlight on you. You go to a club, you go to a party, you're a wallflower. You sink into yourself. You're not confident. Don't you understand that you are hindering a probably a big part of yourself that should be out there enjoying this world? And this is the other thing that I don't know if we think about, because everybody has their different beliefs, and also society and life has a very busy. But if you think about it, you are not here to work a job. Like, even if you believe in the Big Bang, you believe in science, that collision of energy that created everything did not have the thought, okay, one day you're going to work a job, right? Like, our purpose here or our fulfillment here is greater than a job. I think at the core, we are here to have whatever the human experience is, which will always include a vast array of things. But your purpose in life is never going to be your job. Now, through your job, you can find purpose. Sure. And that's the amazing thing about human beings, our ability to adapt. Our minds can manipulate our reality to believe whatever we want. So you can always find purpose in your job. But I think that our purpose here is to explore the full array of emotions. It is to help others. And it is to seek our highest potential. I don't know if you have to reach your highest potential in order for your purpose to be fulfilled, but I think the journey of reaching for that highest version of yourself is the purpose itself. You're here for an experience. Now, with that being said, this is just my opinion, other people have their own opinion, but let's grant the argument that that's true, right? The journey of discovery is your purpose. Well, if that is your purpose, how can you fully express yourself when you're constantly hiding, retreating to the shadows? You don't want to do this. You don't want to explore that. Also, by the way, one thing that people I don't think realize, especially early in their wellness journey, because it's hard to conceptualize this, but when you start to heal, when the mucus starts to drain from your brain, you think more clearly. So it's not just that your body functions more optimally, you make better decisions. And with better decision making comes a understanding of what fear is and what fear is not, and how to use fear to your advantage and how to ignore fear when you need to. If you have the ability to manage fear, and in my opinion, fear is the thing that hinders us more than anything else. Fear is your glass ceiling. If we have the ability to manage fear, we have the ability to push that glass ceiling away, and then it's limitless after that. But you got to learn how to manage fear. And if you've been working to try to manage fear, The way that you do it, the shortcut, the cheat code, get a healthy brain physically, right? You get a healthy brain through giving it the nutrition that it needs, limiting encumbrances and toxicities, and living a lifestyle that will help maintain that. And when you do that, you get a healthy brain. And then with the healthy brain, you have the ability to make better decisions. With better decisions, you increase your quality of living. When you increase your quality of living, it gives you a platform to do way more. You could travel, you could vacation. You don't have to worry about those small things in life. Now, remember, if we were placed in a natural world, that means that everything's provided for us. In a natural world, the world we should live in, food is provided, water is provided, energy is provided. Okay? These are your natural, this is what you need. You have the ability and the hands and the thumbs to create shelter for yourself, but all of your necessities are met. What I find that we're doing is we are grinding, as my friend Mel says, we're grinding from the bottom just to make it to the bottom. Like, we literally are, imagine that health is here, right? We're starting off down here and we're working that 8-month process, trying to be integral, being accountable, all the work, all the effort, the fasting, all of that just amounts to getting here. This is level. This is ground level. We're starting underneath. And we think, because we start so low, that this is the top. This is not the top. This is your birthright. Everybody should have health. That's just basic. It's like being born with 2 arms and 2 legs. That's just supposed to happen. There are people that are born with 1 less arm or 1 less leg or no arms or legs. And they look at us like we're special. Like they wish that they had arms and legs. But we don't think about that because that's not our reality, right? But when you put things in perspective, you can look at the person that was born with no arms and legs and be like, man, I'm blessed to have arms and legs. But we don't think about ourselves being socially born without arms and legs, meaning when we're born, we usually come from corrupt seed, a corrupt womb. And if you get past that, then you are injected when you're born and you are given formula. So from as early as possible, your health is compromised. You don't know any better. You think this is how it's supposed to be. You think you're supposed to wear glasses. Sometimes people's eyes go bad. You think you're supposed to deal with heart disease. Sometimes people have poor genetics. You think you're supposed to get type 1 diabetes. Sometimes people just they luck of the hand. No, none of this is supposed to, right? So we got to understand none of this is supposed to. So then that means that gives us control, that gives us power. That means there's something we could do. We can change it because it's not supposed to. And so that's the Healthy Alternative brand. Our goal is to help you guys understand what true health is, how to obtain it, and then how to maintain it. And then once you get to that level, you just get to the ground floor, then you could build from there and your life becomes limitless. But we got to have a level of health and wellness. And today's message says you got to start with integrity. So I hope that I hope this message reached you guys. One thing I wanted to let you know is we as the leader of this brand, if you want to look at it that way, I'm constantly pushing the envelope. I do practice what I preach. It's kind of like one of them things where when you're a young child and you see abuse happening, you say, I will never do that. I will never be that way, right? Like, it's kind of like that where I saw shady things happening, especially with people who are in leadership. I saw them abuse their power and their position. And because of the words my mom fed into me, I was like, I will never be that way, right? So I'm going to be honest with you guys. And I have been honest with you about my journey, the ups and the downs, Shoot, I did a whole video talking about when I broke my fast and the mistakes I made. I didn't try to hide that so I can keep some pristine. I don't want you guys to look at me like, oh, this pristine. I don't want you to pedestalize me. I want you to know I'm human. I make mistakes. I have my struggles just like you do. But I think that when you do that, people resonate with that. They're like, oh, Chris is just a human. He's just a normal dude. He's not special. He's not a star. He's not some god or something. You know what I mean? He's just like me and you. We both bleed. Red blood comes out. And we make mistakes. And the beautiful thing about it is this wellness journey is not about perfection. It's not. It's about consistency, resiliency, accountability, integrity. Look at your environment, look at your consumption, right? And then create a lifestyle that supports what it is that you say you want. So in order to help you guys do this, what do? We created the AHA 21-day fasting challenge. This was something me and Steve developed years ago. I don't know, maybe 4 years ago now. And we've had wild success with this challenge. The cool thing about it is we're constantly innovating and changing and updating. And so recently, we've decided to launch the challenge again. Now, the challenge is open present day, okay? It's going to start January 5th. And we're always kind of playing with things, see what works for people. This year, we decided to start the challenge after the holidays. You know, oftentimes we'll start our challenges during the holidays. And the reason why is because I want to test the limits of your commitment. We've had 100 different holidays: Christmas, year in and year out, Easter, Valentine's Day, New Year's Eve, Halloween, birthday. The list goes on and on. Every year we have holidays. Okay. This year, let's choose to put our energy towards something different, something that's going to be beneficial to us. So I usually challenge y'all. I want to see who's going to join the challenge during the holiday. That helps me gauge a level of commitment. This year, we decided to give you guys a break. All right. I'm going to put the link in the chat. The 21-day challenge is open for enrollment. You guys can join, get called, set up. If today's message resonated with you, I'm going to encourage you guys to join the challenge. All right. What do you guys get with the challenge? Just in case you're new, because I know we have a tremendous amount of people that join our challenge every time. There's literally hundreds of people that join every challenge. And I think that speaks to the quality of the product that we've put together, that people would continue to purchase it, right? The challenges are not designed, let me be clear. They're not designed to get you from A to Z, right? It's not like you're going to join the 21-day challenge and come out and all of you. It is just a part in your wellness journey, So that's the reason why people join multiple, because they might be looking to lose 80 pounds over the course of 8 months. And so that's going to take multiple challenges. But you don't keep spending money on something that you don't see value in. So that was my point of saying that. You get core lessons that come with each challenge. The 21-day challenge is its own thing, right? We've got other challenges as well. So you get the core content that comes with that. We host regular live streams in our challenges where you get not just me, but you get the entire coaching team. And I know in this challenge, I have an intention to do some things a little different, because over the past year we've learned. So we're gonna make some changes in the challenges. They're gonna be good changes. You guys are gonna like them. More interaction, different directions, different options. This is where you guys get to come and interact with us on more of a personal level. We give you guys a lot of opportunity to submit questions and just interact so that you can be heard and get specific solutions for you and your situation. You get a PDF guide that comes along with it. Also, the big secret sauce. You guys get invited into our secret membership area on AHA Communities. So that's where you get an opportunity to interact with the rest of the people in the challenge. And once again, the community is the 6th man of the year. One of the reasons why I am so good at what I do is because of my interaction with you all. So that means being able to talk, ask questions, get feedback. Hey, can you go try this? Okay, cool. What happened? That interaction between myself and you all is what helps to build my knowledge base. It helps me to see a big picture. But you guys can do the same thing. Like, that's not anything special. It's just being observant and asking questions. So when you join the challenge, I encourage you to engage, ask questions, be vocal, and also be willing to be raw. Show people where you have failed. If you're willing to show where you haven't been successful, that's an opportunity for someone to help you, right? And you've got hundreds of other people who have probably already been where you are, or have had that obstacle to overcome. So I think that's extremely valuable. The challenge is $98, y'all. It's $98. The 21-day challenge is a 6-week challenge. It's 5 weeks. It's a 5-week challenge. You don't need to prepare for the challenge. The prep is baked into it. As a matter of fact, I would highly encourage you all to come with the mindset that you're going to just follow the steps. Like, we've been doing this for 4 years, just the challenge. And we know what we're doing, and we refine our process. We make it better. People get amazing outcomes from being a part of our challenges. I've got videos on YouTube talking about it where we bring people on and they talk about their experience. I just had Howard on. If you guys haven't seen his video, I encourage you, go watch his video. He lost 140 pounds. Incredible story. One of the things he did was he followed the R72. Okay, we've got the R72 fasting challenge. The R72 was successful for him. We've got the 21-day fasting challenge coming up January 5th. That might be your bread and butter, right? Later on next year, we'll have other challenges available. I would encourage you guys, try a little bit of everything. It's like ice cream. You don't know which flavor you like until you try it. You can assume that you're not going to like the peppermint flavor, chocolate and peppermint, but how do you know? How do you know for sure until you try it, right? So the link for that is in the description. Can you offer a retreat? We do a retreat all the time. We just had our retreat in when did we do that retreat? Was it September? Yeah, I think it was September. All right, let's see if we got anything in the chat that I need address. Real quick, guys, if you have anything you want me to address immediately, super chat it right now, okay? Because I'm not going to go through all the questions. Anybody, if you guys super chat, I'll answer your questions right now. How often do your brothers and sisters exercise? So there's no answer for this. Everybody does their own thing. As it relates to the AHA brand, we have not solidified the fitness part of the brand yet, just because, there's a lot of fitness channels, a lot of fitness brands out there that talk about what you could do to get fit and whatever. But it's like, if you're obese, that's not even, what are we even talking about? Like, you don't want to put that extra strain on your body. Your goal is really to get your weight down first before you start going to the gym, going hard. Now, exercise is important, but you don't want to go hard, right? Not when you have 100 pounds to lose. So we just haven't got there yet. We'll probably develop a fitness branch of the brand eventually, because it's on my roadmap. But with that being said, everybody does their own thing. There's nothing I teach per se, or we don't even talk about it and monitor it that much. Like, I'll see I could tell if they're working out or whatever, just because of their physique, they'll change, or I see their habits, but I have no idea. But here's what I will say, because I was talking about my brother at that time. He was going to the gym. He's working out. I don't recommend people working out hard early in your wellness journey. Even if you don't have 100 pounds to lose, let's say you got 50 pounds to lose. Yeah, you could go to the gym, but you still want to give your body an opportunity to adapt to fasting before you put that excess stress on the body at the gym. So there's a lot of reasons why I don't recommend exercising when your body is not adapted to fasting. So sorry, I can't give you a more concise answer. This is an interesting comment. I lost 83 pounds, 12 while being pregnant. Now I can't get the scale to move a pound, just maintaining 4 months, 4 months pregnant. You lost 83 pounds. You lost 12 while being pregnant. So I guess now you're not pregnant anymore, but you're trying to get the scale to move. Look, I can't dig into it, right? Because we really would need to have like a back and forth. I would need to look at your lifestyle, what you're eating, all those different things, what's working, what's not working. But here's what I will say. Join the 21-day fasting challenge. By the way, if you guys aren't keen on doing a 21-day fast, don't worry. All right. I know that sounds crazy. Number one, the goal of the 21-day challenge is to prepare you for the challenge itself. But also, there's many different variations. The goal here is to put yourself in a community, in a setting, put a little skin in the game so that you can help boost your possibility of being successful. And then we can kind of alter to accommodate whatever you got going on, especially if you're like breastfeeding. You don't really want to do a 21-day fast. That's nothing we would ever recommend. However, there are alternatives that you can do. You just simply got to ask the question, hey guys, I want to do the challenge, or I've joined the challenge, I'm breastfeeding. How do I navigate the 21-day challenge while being a breastfeeding mother? So that's one of the opportunities you guys have. If you're breastfeeding, or if you're dealing with a particular issue, ailment, whatever, disease, you can come join the challenge, ask questions, and we have a full question and answer panel. We have a form. You guys can actually put your questions on the form and submit them ahead of time. All the live stream calls are available after the fact. You guys get access to all of that, as well as you get access to all of the archived calls for all 4 years of content that's come prior to this challenge. Well, it won't be all 4 years because we moved platforms, but you get the picture. The last couple of years, it's all housed there. So you get countless hours of question and answer calls, coaching sessions. It is really invaluable. And in my opinion, the price does not do it justice. But that's not the goal. Wasn't the goal wasn't to try to price it based on its value. The goal was to price it so that the most amount of people can benefit from it, but also to provide extreme value. It's worth anybody is there anybody who's been in our challenge in the chat right now that can speak to what I'm saying? If you've been in any of our challenges and you're in the chat right now, drop in the chat if you think that $98 is well worth it, or if you think that we're underselling it, or if you think that it costs too much for the value, not for your particular circumstance, because everyone's circumstance is different. But we look at the value proposition. I'm just curious. I know somebody in here has been in the challenges before. You can give your honest opinion. I promise I won't yell at you if you don't think it's worth $98. But I'm just curious. You guys could just drop it in the chat. When your mind becomes clear while you're fasting, you do make better decisions. You face those challenges and things that you put to the wayside during the times that you were unclear. Yep. This is what I would say, wisdom from somebody who has fasted. Remember earlier in the call, if you guys were here, I talked about how when your boots on the ground, you get different clarity. You get different understanding from an experience versus like reading about it. I can tell from this comment, this is someone who's done the fasting. Okay. We all experience very similar things. So it's not something you could fake. Like if you've done it and you know what it is, like you know what it is. Like it's it's hard to explain. You need to experience it. 21-day fasting challenge is a great opportunity to work your fasting muscle if you have not had the opportunity to do longer fasts. The other thing too is everybody's not built for long fasts right now. You have to work up to it. Just like exercising, we were talking about exercising earlier. You got to work up to it. Okay. So we got Vicky, well worth it. The information and the lives alone during the challenge are worth $98 in my opinion. The challenges always pay for themselves. Now, the interesting thing about the challenge paying for itself, that statement right there is when you go in the challenge, you get it. But your lifestyle changes for that time that you're in the challenge if you're doing it, right? So that means less money on groceries. Once again, you make better decisions. I call them off benefits of fasting. One of the off benefits of fasting is you have more money. We used to do this thing back in the day where we would fast for X amount of days. And based on the amount of days you would fast, you would save money. You put that money into an account or into an envelope or whatever, and then you would buy yourself something with the money you save from fasting. Gamifying the fasting journey is, in my opinion, like one of the coolest modern tricks that you could do. The way you do it is let's see here. Over the course of 30 days, I want you guys to look at what you spend. Food, as far as food goes, like DoorDash and everything. Don't cheat yourself. Look at, get your credit card statement or your bank statement and look at how much money you're spending in food, the vending machines and everything, right? And quantify that. You'll probably be surprised at how much money you spend on food if you've never done it. All right. So let's say an individual spends $400 a month on food, which sounds high, but in this day and age, DoorDash, that's easy. So then we say, okay, we're just going to take a number. We'll say it's 30 days in a month. All right. So you take the $400 and you divide it by the 30 days in a month. All right. Let's just do that for fun so that you guys can see exactly how this works. I'd love for you to use this technique. It's something we did back in the day, and it was cool. All right. So $400 a month for food divided by 13 or $30 is $13 a day. It's 13 and some change. Right. That means that for every day you fast, you get to pay yourself $13. We can round it up. We can say $14. Every day you fast, you get to pay yourself $14. If you fast for 5 days, I'm not going to do math on the internet live, so we're going to do 14 times 5. So that's $70, right? So that means if you guys are on a 5-2 schedule, meaning that you're fasting for 5 days, you're eating for 2 days, each month, you're going to save $280 on the 5-2 schedule. So then the question becomes, well, what would you like to buy? You want to get a new purse? You want a vacation? I mean, vacations, you can find those deals where you could do a vacation for $300 something. You know what I mean? I've seen them. I've done them. Or maybe, hey, look, $280 is a subscription. Maybe there's something that you want to subscribe to, or maybe you want to get YouTube Red or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And maybe you fast every month to pay for your YouTube Red subscription. This sounds silly, but in practice, it's gold because you are spending this money. That's the reason why when you start this thing, you start with real numbers. You don't even have to do 30 days. You could do 60 or 90 days, and you can find the average of what you spend over the course of 1 quarter. And then you could divide it, right? So if you do 90 days, you just divide whatever that number is, say it's $5,000, you divide it by 90, and that'll give you how much money each day you get to save when you fast. People have gone on vacations, they've bought themselves laptops. You can do whatever you want with the money. It's your money. But I think it's a fun way to gamify it. Now, as we relate to these challenges, yeah, you do a 21-day fasting challenge, it costs you $98. Based on this math, you're winning. You're winning. Trust me. Here we go. Just finished the recent R72, lost 30 pounds. I know I didn't get to all y'all. But I appreciate you dropping your experience in the chat. I'm doing my best to not overlook. I don't see anybody saying that it's not worth it. It's worth it. And Chris will even have alternative payment methods. Yeah. So if you guys need like a paying for or something like that, I've made that available. All right. So anyway, I appreciate your time and attention tonight. I didn't see any super chats. So I'm gonna drop the link again for the challenge. I want to see you guys all join the challenge. I really, really want 2025 to be the best year for your wellness. And obviously we're at the end of 2024, but we can make the decision to we can make the decision, and we can begin our process of practicing integrity today. Right? Because integrity has to be long lasting. You can't be integral today and be looked at as a person of integrity. It's not a one-day thing, but we can start the process today. You can make the commitment to your health and wellness. Click the button, join the challenge. By the time the challenge starts, if you do and paying for, it's basically all paid for. You could literally, I've done my best to make sure that there's no hurdle, monetarily speaking, to get you guys through the door. It's really just about your commitment to yourself. And then also being willing to follow instructions and be willing to be led. If you have questions, ask questions. That's all I've got for you this evening. Enjoy the rest of your week, y'all. Hope you all have a great weekend coming up. It's getting cold in Dallas, so I got the heat on. I got my hoodies on, and we about to go through this winter season. But man, I don't like the cold, y'all. I might try to get away. I've done all the talking I got. Good evening.